good evening. You're watching us live from the Gambia Radio and Television Services, and this is the news coming to you straight from Banjul. Also coming up, President Barrow presides over the grand launch of the National People's Party at the Independence Stadium in Bakau, with tens of thousands of supporters in attendance. Expanding the judicial arm of government, President Barrow presides over the opening of the 2021 legal year, highlighting his government's stance on the independence of the judiciary. The new Malaysian High Commissioner and Egyptian Ambassador to the Gambia have today presented their letters of credence to Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Mamadou Tangara. And in the internationals, the army in Myanmar has executed a coup d'etat, arresting incumbent President Aung San Suu Kyi and senior members of her government. The World Health Organization investigates the origin of the COVID-19 pandemic in the city of Wuhan, which has now infected over 100 million people, whilst killing over 2 million. Well, these and many other stories coming ahead in the next 45 minutes. Thank you for joining us. Now, many thanks for joining GRTS News with me, Fatu Janibai. We begin this edition of the Bulletin with the Presidency, where His Excellency Adama Barrow on Saturday presided over the official launch of the National People's Party. The grand ceremony held at the Independence Stadium in Bakau marks a historic turning point for Gambian politics, attracting tens of thousands of supporters at both home and beyond. Modu Jala has the rest of details in this report.
The historic launching of the National People's Party was arguably the most anticipated event since its formation in 2019. Tens of thousands of people filled the Independence Stadium in Bakau in what could be described as the largest gathering of party supporters and militants. Several prominent political figures also attended the event to show solidarity with the MP and cement their alliance, which has stood the test of time. The momentum had been building since morning and climaxed with the President's arrival, escorted by thousands of people on foot and horseback through the Kairaba Avenue to the Independence Stadium. After the euphoria had subsided, party officials took turns to address the crowds, expressing delight in seeing such an unprecedented turnout. Mamanyik Nyai, the administrative secretary of the party, described the event as a turning point in the Gambia's political development, adding that the NPP will positively contribute to national development and democracy. He reassured that the party has opened its doors to all Gambians, irrespective of their ethnic or religious backgrounds, as it is guided by the principles of integrity, respect, and freedom. The regional chairman of the party in the Kanivi municipality, Unda Nyang, welcomed delegates to the historic launching, adding that it marks a new era of political consciousness, as it has given citizens a choice to showcase their political preference. The National Women's Mobilizer, Maimuna Balde, described women as the backbone of the party, and therefore urged them to continue to empower President Barrow to ensure victory in the presidential election slated for December this year. A representative of the diaspora, Lamin Demba, disclosed that the NPP has made significant inroads in attracting support within the diaspora community, but reassured that they will continue to reach out to as many countries as possible by opening new branches to attract Gambians. The national president of the party, Alhaji Dembo Bojang, who has positioned himself as a staunch supporter of President Barrow, said the Gambian leader has the right credentials, integrity, and charisma to lead the country, describing him as a true patriot and committed servant of the people. He therefore appealed to all Gambians to join the NPP, as it remains the only champion of democracy, good governance, and development. In his launching statement, President Barrow welcomed the formation of the NPP party as a true reflection of the will and aspirations of the Gambian people who entrusted him with their destiny. The President therefore reassured that he is up to the task and will deliver as expected.
I have accepted to form this party, together with all of you, to provide a platform for us to collectively fight the social divisions, the political cracks, and institutional failures that have persistently undermined the peace, stability, progress, and development of our dear motherland. Be assured that this is a party devoted to creating, expanding, and sustaining space for popular participation in development as politically matured democratic, patriotic, and economically independent citizens.
President Barrow acknowledged the challenges that lie, but argued that with the support and right attitude, the future looks bright as his administration has already laid robust foundations for the socio-economic and political advancement of the country. He vowed to continue on this development trajectory, saying the NPP is the answer to the challenges we face as a country.
Our party's vision is to build a nation we can proudly call home. This is derived from the desire for positive, transformative change that will result in an all-inclusive, all-progressive, and an accomplished society of happy, peaceful, dignified, and united people who are proud to call Gambia home. We believe in democracy for good governance, as it is defined by the law and approved by the people. We do not believe in any form of governance that contravenes the Gambia's shared ideals and values. Accordingly, we denounce and reject all forms of dictatorship and degrading treatment of human beings or communities. We believe that all are equal before the law, and all human beings have the same fundamental rights to life and good living.
The Gambian leader outlined a comprehensive plan of action as contained in the party manifesto to address all areas of development, but laid emphasis on youth and women empowerment as priority areas that will receive significant attention.
We believe that the youth should be meaningfully involved in discussions and decision-making on youth matters intensify as part of the strategies to address youth unemployment, crime, illegal migration, drug abuse, and all devices associated with this invaluable resource of the nation. The women of Gambia are part of the political and economic vanguard of the nation. They constitute a bigger percent of the Gambian population than their male compatriots and contribute very significantly towards nation building.
The president therefore reached out to all Gambians to embrace the MPP party, describing it as a party of Nazis. With barely a year since it was formed, the MPP has already broken new grounds by contesting and winning 2 by-elections in Nyamina and Jokadu. With the official launching of the NPP, the party leadership and its supporters are hopeful that this will give the party the leverage to galvanize Gambians to replicate the feat that President Barrow achieved 5 years ago when he swept the polls in a historic landslide. Mohamed Diallo, GRTS News.
Well, let's now shift our attention to some legal matters and take a look at the legal calendar, which His Excellency President Adama Barrow yesterday presided over to open the 2021 legal year. As Babakar Senghor reports, the ceremony held at the Law Courts Complex in Banjul was witnessed by the Vice President, Dr. Aissatou Touré, Cabinet Ministers, and the Chief Justice Hassan Bijalo, with the aim to reflect on challenges and map the way forward. More in this report.
This is one of the most important days of the legal calendar, and one that had the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, and his cabinet out to grace the opening ceremony of the legal year 2021. Addressing the gathering, President Barrow highlighted the numerous strides undertaken by his government in promoting reforms, upholding the rule of law, and ensuring judicial independence. Key elements, he said, are important in any democratic society.
While we reflect on 2020 as a trying and extraordinary year globally, let me assure you that my government remains firm and passionate about promoting and upholding good governance. The rule of law and respect for human rights are spelled out in the National Development Plan 2018-2021. Because the plan ends this year, it is necessary that we begin the evaluation process of our performance so far, with a view to designing a successful plan. In the interim, we can pride ourselves on the significant achievements recorded in the key areas of good governance, human rights, rule of law, and women empowerment.
The President also took time to announce other major landmark plans of his government in sustaining the gains made in the improvement of the Gambia's justice delivery system, particularly moves been taken by his government to promote the Gambianization of the judiciary.
For the first time in Gambian history, the judiciary is implementing a strategic plan for the period 2021-2025 in order to deliver justice without fear or favor, honestly, consistently, and devotedly in the public interest. This reassurance complements my New Year's message, in which I call on all personnel of institutions and disciplines across all sectors to adopt quality performance and quality results as their mantra. An indigenized and gender-inclusive judiciary continue to be a main focus of this government.
This is an important day for the judiciary, and one that was highlighted in the speech delivered by the Chief Justice, Hassan B. Jallow, who said the objective of the annual occasion is for stock-taking of the machinery of justice.
The object of this occasion, now a regular item on the state annual calendar since 1982, continues to be the same. That is an occasion for stock-taking of the machinery of justice, reflection on the challenges and dialogue on the way forward to meeting those challenges and to promoting the rule of law in our community through the delivery of quality justice. A number of other activities are thus planned for the rest of this week, which will provide such an opportunity, including a call to the bar tomorrow, the 1st of February, of some 51 Gambians who have successfully completed the vocational stage of their training at the Gambia Law School.
The Gambia has made significant strides in recent times in ensuring that the judiciary remains independent, and those efforts, according to government officials, will continue as the Gambia continues its democratization process. For GRTS News, this is Babakar Senghor.
Well, still on legal matters, the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dauda Jallow, and the Chief Justice, Hassan B. Jallow, have today presided over the 9th call to bar ceremony held in Bijilo. 82 homegrown solicitors and barristers of the courts, including 31 Ghanaians, have succeeded to have undergone a successful academic and vocational training at the Gambia Law School. As Usman Mane reports, the class of 2019 and 2020 graduates are expected to administer justice in the years ahead.
The legal year 2021 begins on a good note as 82 new lawyers are called to the bar following successful trainings at the Gambia Law School. 31 new baristas of the graduating class are Ghanaians who had completed their studies online in Ghana at a time COVID-19 struck the country. Witnessing the ceremony through virtual platform, the new baristas also received the blessings of the General Legal Council. In his welcome statement, the chairperson of the General Legal Council, who doubles as the Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow, commended the new solicitors for their tireless efforts during their course of studies and further advised them to serve as officers of the courts.
You have succeeded in undertaking the academic and the vocational part, and what remains now is just a short stint of pupillage before being considered, being evaluated for enrollment. Enrollment, of course, is not automatic. You will need to be evaluated even after your pupillage. And if you are found to be fit and proper persons for enrollment, you will then be enrolled. And I hope, of course, that all of you will fit that particular description. This is an important stage, as I said. Perhaps within a year, you probably will be enrolled as legal practitioners. But even at this stage, it's important for you to remember that you are poised to join an honorable and a noble profession.
The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dauda A. Jallow, noted the significant investment by the government of the Gambia in producing the homegrown lawyers. He advised the graduating class, as they are now called to the bar, to be guided by the code of conduct as dictated by the profession.
I will not be doing justice without commending young, trained legal professionals, both from the Gambia and within the sub-region. This is not only a significant achievement for the country domestically, but also paves the way in impacting lives of people outside the Gambia. The legal profession is a learned and noble one. However, it is a distinguished office which calls for one to...
The chief guest of the event, a doyen of the legal profession and senior member of the bar, Surahata B.S. Jane, in his wisdom, advised the new officers of the courts to exercise respect, honesty, and commitment to service.
The fundamental goal is the cultivation and constant maintenance of honor and integrity in all activities. The legal practitioner is a member of an ancient profession which is universally recognized as indispensable in a modern state which calls for the rule of law and human and people's rights. You must be reminded that in this profession, you must strive to be ethical and in particular, avoid foul use of money not belonging to you. Recently, the Disciplinary Committee of the General Legal Council has commendably been more active in bringing aberrant lawyers to book. You may be aware that some of your colleagues suffered from punishment, including disbarment, for serious financial and other malpractices.
The Director General of the Gambia Law School, Rugi Tomasi, and the most outstanding student, Eram Gabla Gale, thanked the staff and lecturers of the law school, as well as the government of the Gambia, for also awarded to outstanding students of the class of 2019-2020. Usman Mane, GRTS.
Well, we now take a look at the diplomatic community and head to the Foreign Affairs Ministry in Banjul, where the new Malaysian High Commissioner to the Gambia, Dr. Jalina Zainul Abidin, has today presented her letters of credence to Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Mahmoud Tangara. The ceremony, as Farmer Abaji reports, also witnessed the presentation of similar credentials by Egyptian Ambassador Noha Kader. More in this report.
This marked the beginning of her official confirmation as the successor of the former Tangara in his office, with a closed-door engagement before speaking to the press.
The minister and I spoke about how we could enhance relations despite the pandemic. Of course, our aspirations, our hope that this will soon be over, and how small countries like the Gambia and Malaysia can cooperate on the multilateral level at the UN, with the WHO, with other multilateral organizations, in order to ensure that we are not left behind.
The High Commissioner further said Malaysia will continue to collaborate with the Gambia in many areas of development that will
taken up. So this year we are renewing again appeal to the Gambian students who have finished their O-levels, are ready for university, to apply, because these are full scholarships given by a private university in Malaysia.
In a related development, the Egyptian ambassador to the Gambia, Noha Kader, in health among others.
We have already ongoing ones in the areas of capacity building programs, health, security, education, agriculture, fishery. Also, we're cooperating in the field of health, where we're establishing a relation between the Ministry of Health and the faculty of the hospitals and doctors of the Gambia.
The new Malaysian High Commissioner Zainul Abidin and the Egyptian ambassador to the Gambia, Noha Kader, are now expected to begin their official tour of duty with aim to improving relations and development cooperation. Farmer Abaji, GRTS News.
Now, still ahead for you, we shift attention to the National Assembly, where the Public Enterprise Committee has told the Gambia Public Printing Corporation to get their 2019 Audited Activity Report and Financial Statement ready on or before the 26th of February. The public institutions. Momodu Sise, Managing Director of GPPC, explained the reason for their setback in this excerpt.
The reason for not being able to submit this report have various issues, and we had change of auditors from the start. From last time we submitted our 2017 and 18 reports. Immediately after that, they first time they are doing their audit with us. And usually, when you have no entrant town to auditors, usually there are a lot of protocols and procedures that they would always want to enter before they finalize. Unfortunately, also, before the auditors could actually submit the report, we also had our board expire, the terms of our board of directors expired in October. And we had to write to the ministry, our own ministry, Minister of Communication and Information, for them to avoid the new, we only received the appointment of the board last week, Thursday. These are some of the reasons why we had a delay.
Explaining the reasons for their setback before the Public Enterprise Committee of the National Assembly. Well, we hope to bring you details of that in our subsequent news bulletins. Now, the 20th session of his testimony on alleged excesses of the previous administration. Seda Bujan witnessed proceedings, and this is her report.
Do swear that I will speak the truth. I will speak the truth, the whole truth.
Early childhood, his education and security training in Hungary, and how he through the ranks to man some top active. Throughout his testimony, witness Kujabi shared many instances how former President Jammeh would act and behave, and when lead counsel Esa Fall asked the witness whether the former president
at the instructions of Yaya Jammeh. Yeah, because what happened is your father, Aruna was arrested and the sister disappeared.
Lead counsel Esa Fall asked the witness if Jammeh knew about the people who were tortured by security personnel. He knew he would. Witness Kujabi told the commission that Jammeh ordered the killing of his brother, Jassa Jack.
Light a cigarette. And burn all my eyebrows. You mean your eyelids, huh? Yeah, the bruises, the eyelids, huh? The ashtray is in my body.
Sittings continue tomorrow at 10 a.m. Saina Bujan for GRTS News.
And now the National Water and Electricity Company Limited, NAWEC, and the Gambia Bureau of Statistics, GBERS, has today convened a forum to discuss its 6-month-long data collection exercise. The new scheme, dubbed BOCA, is a component of the Gambia Electricity Restoration and Modernization Project funded by the World Bank. Fatudiva picks up the rest of the story.
The National Water and Electricity Company Limited, NAWEC, and the Gambia Bureau of Statistics will start a 6-month data collection project across the World Bank. The IMS project will grant NAWEC and GBOS officials first-hand information that will improve the supply of services and operations.
We'll be collecting GIS coordinates of all our assets. This includes our pole numbers, our substations, all our assets in the field. And this we're going to put in a system whereby anytime there is an incident, or it's going to help us in our incident management, anytime there is a fault in the system, you will easily see it in the system. You will trace it and know exactly where the problem is, and the team will be there on time to be able to solve this. This will save time, it will save costs, and it will also help us to reduce our downtime.
As Matter has indicated, the IDs, the field staff will provide with an ID card, and the ID card will bear the name of the respondent, as well as logos of NAWEC and GBOS. An introductory letter will be given to them laminated because of the period of the exercise will last for 6 months, which have telephone numbers of personnel to be contacted. In case you need clarification of why this project, why these people are coming to your households, collecting data for electricity, water, as well as general questions about the services in the country.
To improve service delivery, the general public is urged for their cooperation.
I think it's important for the public to know the importance of this exercise. Without data, I don't think there could be any planning in any part of the world. And I think NAWEC requires this information to improve what they're doing, the service provisions for the general public, be it electricity, water, as well as services generally provided in this country. So we're urging the public to really help in terms of giving access to the field staff, to their premises, to the NAWEC assets as said by Matar, be it the electricity meter or as well as the water meter.
This exercise, for me, is one of the most important components of the implementation of the IMS. Because the data that we are collecting, if it is not of quality, if it is not accurate, that means the objectives that we have set for ourselves to achieve in this project will not be achieved. And therefore, let me just put that emphasis, just like the GBOS Deputy Statistician General just said, that the cooperation of the public is key in this.
At the end of the 6 months exercise, the data gathered will help the operating system of the utility giant. Fatou Deba for GRTS News.
Now, following the recent outbreak of fire at the Bakoteh Dam site, the mayor of Kanifing Municipality, Talib Bensouda, has today briefed the press on the council efforts to addressing the issue of Bakoteh Dam site, As Khadija Tujalo reports, Mayor Bensouda described the Bakoteh Dam site as a national matter that requires concerted efforts.
The Backwater Dam site has been in existence for the past 3 decades. Population increase has resulted to challenges in waste management. Last Wednesday's fire at the dump site, according to KMC Director of Services, Lamin Sanyang, cost the council more than $500,000.
Imagine, for this, we could have used that for other projects, community projects. We have our market projects, we have our road projects, and then other projects. So we spent almost $500,000 to hire septic tanks and also to provide fuel and some resources to fire and rescue services, to motivate them to help us to quell that fire at the site, because we have a target. We want to ensure that come today, kids around that area are going to school, because when fire actually happened on Thursday, some of the schools closed simply because of the smoke.
KM Mayor Talib Bensouda said the location of the dump site is a health threat to people living in the area, particularly school children at SOS. He said the council has been working towards addressing the issue.
The council is constructing a 3.5-meter tall fence in order to protect the children from entering the site and being exposed to many hazards. The fence will ensure that once the dump site is closed, unlawful individuals will not be able to enter or dump at the site.
Mayor Bensouda called for concerted efforts by the government and other stakeholders like NAWEC to explore the possibility of using waste for energy.
KMC is committed to working through the Intermunicipal Waste Committee on Waste Management, along with Banjul City Council and Birkama Area Council, under the chairmanship of the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Lands, to establish the technical requirements of an alternative location. The Intermunicipal Committee has shortlisted potential locations and conducted site visits on the matter. The recommendations of the Intermunicipal Committee require immediate action from the Ministry of Lands, which has been pending for months now.
The Commissioner of Police underscored the importance of securing the area, saying a suspect is under investigation by the police for causing fire. Khadija Tujalo reporting for GRTS News.
And now, the Global Youth Parliament, Kanifing Municipality chapter on Friday, held its maiden Congress. The event saw the election of new youth parliamentarians who are set to represent youth in their various constituencies across the Kanifing Municipality. Ominjai covered the event, and this is her report.
The maiden Congress of the Global Youth Parliament KM chapter started with a debate between contestants vying for the different parliamentary seats. One by one, they took to the podium to deliver their manifestos outlining huge plans for their constituencies if voted into office. The promotion of human priorities. Young parliamentarians delivered a flurry of speeches highlighting their aspirations and blueprints for change to convince young voters.
The initiative and the concept behind today's Congress was to get youngsters together, youths together, and find parliamentarians that will represent the 7 constituencies in KMC. So there was an application process, people sent in their applications, we opened a group chat as well, people also sent in their interest through that way. So the aim was to have at least 2 or 3 for each constituency that will come at Congress and then, read out their biographies in front of the members that want to be a part of GYP KMC
committee, and the members themselves will be the ones to say, okay, I want this person, I agree of her testimony, and I agree that she or he can represent that constituency. So that's what happened today, and it was a success.
Siahu Marang, National Assembly member for Latrikunda Sabiji, was the day's key motivational speaker. Taking the youth gathering through his life journey, he challenged them to be proactive and ardently pursue their dreams as they work to advance youth development.
We have a role to play when it comes to the young ones. How do we play our roles is important. One should be curious enough and say that, look, what is this National Assembly doing for us young ones? I think that's a very good question, and it's very important. You should always ask us. As a global youth parliament, I'm still going to tax you. The issue of our budget, that's important. It's a concern. We need to know what is given to the young ones. Sometimes at the level of the parliament or even outside, people will complain, more especially you, the young ones, say that we have not been given enough money as a Minister of Youth and Sport. But do you look at the program that the Minister of Youth and Sport is running for you? Sometimes it's important. Those who are representing the youth, you cannot represent the youth when they are 60 years and above. It is wrong. It is not right. And this is what is happening here.
The country director of the Global Youth Parliament had some inspirational words for young people, urging them to strongly believe in their ability to move the country forward.
It is now time for us to take in charge. This country cannot go forward if youths are not putting actions into play. That's why many youth organizations will start and they will never last. Why? Because there is always a breakup. And those people who break it up, they don't have beliefs. And because we have a number of people that don't have belief, that's why this country is not going anywhere.
After what was a fair voting process at the end of the Congress, Mary K. Baji won the seat for Serekunda West, landing Sala for Serekunda constituency, Marabi Haidara for Bununga Kunda, Modula Menjane for Bakau, Peter Sane for Talinding, Yande Jany for Latrikunda Sabiji, and Afatu Kamara for Joswang. The youth parliamentarians are now duty-bound to work closely with the executives of the youth parliament to serve their various constituencies for implementation.
We have a maiden project that we're working on, which is women's health and maternal health. So we're doing that project with my parliamentarians.
Omenjai, GRTS.
Well, elsewhere, Kombo East District Youth Committee has convened a day's forum with its stakeholders aiming to promote a more participatory approach towards community development practices.
It's a convergence pioneered by Kombo East Settlement to discuss pertinent issues on community development.
Transform the youthful population of our society into productive citizens without placing well-structured roadmap in a bid to promote job creation, empowerment, and excellence in skills among youth and children within our community. The District Youth Committee seeks to establish a District Development Committee which will coordinate the development affairs
of the constituency, who shared words of wisdom.
No economic or social advancement can take place without peace. Absolutely, we take peace as one of the very expensive prices. As youths of these districts, I'm really very much proud of the people, the youths of Kombo East, because not the first time I've been saying this over and over, that I'm very much proud to be from Kombo East. Because I know there's a university in Kombo East called KIDA, in which almost all these forums have been emanated from.
The youth community is Sanyang, GRTS.
The communities of Karantaba, Duto, Kono, Kujao, Dobo, and Frishwolof are the latest villages in the Central River Region North to receive modern beekeeping materials from the
This community climate resilience enterprise, courtesy of EVA project, is expected to diversely restore degraded forest cover as well improve the economic status of rural communities. The representatives of Governor Sirif Abba Sanyang enjoined EBA beneficiary beekeepers to judiciously execute the project. Fatmata Sisa of Karantaba Tabokoto, Nene Danso, and Jaite Sane of Dobo, respectively in the Central River Region North.
I can tell that these are one of the luckiest communities in our intervention areas to be supported with all the necessary beekeeping materials. Any association that is engaged in beekeeping. So these communities now, the project is on the verge of providing a food processing facility that would be located within CRR in Birkamaba, the market, for them to sell. As we know, honey is now at a high demand in the world. The status of the communities now, they are farmers, and now the farming community all the time can tell you that they do experience poor harvest.
According to Jaha, bees are the major pollinators.
Good thing about it is that you cannot be, experiencing bush is a threat to beekeepers. So, and I know if the business is very viable, nobody will tell communities to go out and fight fire. In fact, they themselves will not entertain fires to even approach those fire incidences, and yet still, honey cannot be achieved if pollination does not occur.
Well, Welcome back to GRTS News. And in the internationals, Aung San Suu Kyi has punished since she took political office as Myanmar State Councillor in 2016. Sunday's coup d'etat have led to her arrest on early Monday morning with members of her party. The move comes after mourning by Aung San Suu Kyi's party. More in this report by France 24.
Person alone that we're in this movement for democracy. It's for all of us.
From staunch opponent of the military junta. Born in Yangon in 1945, she's the daughter of one of the heroes of the country's war for independence. She was just 2 years old when her father was assassinated. She studied in India and at Oxford in England, where she settled with her family. In 1988, she returned to Yangon to care for her ailing mother, and it was then that she was swept up into politics, leading a pro-democracy movement in the midst of a brutal military repression. In 1989, she was placed under house arrest, refusing to leave the country in exchange for freedom. 2 years later, she earned the Nobel 12.
We must seize the opportunity to reform the country. If we lose this opportunity, we'll go down in history as guilty.
Her persistent co-leading the country with the military. But her silence over the persecution of the Rohingya minority stoked widespread international criticism. In 2017, some 700,000 Rohingya refugees were forced to flee to Bangladesh amid claims of ethnic cleansing.
And the Rakhine community. And we have inherited this very complex problem, and we have to deal with it.
But her reputation in Myanmar went unscathed. Last November, her party secured yet another sweeping victory in parliamentary elections, prolonging Aung San Suu Kyi's mandate until the military junta seized power on February 1st.
Hello, good evening viewers. Welcome to the latest weather report from the Central Forecast Office, and I am Lamin Biju. First, we look at the weather summary. Past 24 hours was characterized by mild temperatures and slightly hazy atmosphere during the morning, while warm and sunny during the afternoon, with partly to cloudless atmosphere. Tonight, fairly cool and slightly hazy atmosphere and occasionally breezy wind will prevail as the night progresses. For weather tomorrow, similar conditions are expected to prevail. Fairly cool and occasionally breezy wind will prevail during the morning hours, while warm and sunny during the afternoon with the persistence of slight hazy condition. Surface wind flow will vary between northeasterly and easterly across the country, with speed ranging from 10 to 30 km per hour. The minimum temperature is expected to be 19 degrees Celsius over Greater Banjul area, 18 degrees Celsius over West Coast region, 17 over North Bank region, 19 degrees Celsius over Lower River region, and 18 degrees Celsius will be recorded in Central and Upper River region respectively. As we move to the afternoon, temperatures will increase to 36 degrees Celsius over Greater Banjul area, rising to 37 degrees Celsius over West Coast region, 38 degrees Celsius over North Bank and Lower River region, and 39 degrees Celsius will be recorded in Central and Upper River region, respectively. For the marine forecast, low tides will be 0.2 meter at 7 a.m., 0.3 meter at 7 p.m., and high tides will be 1.8 meter at 1 a.m., 1.5 meter at 1 p.m. Sea states will be moderate with significant wave height of 1 meter northwesterly swells. Sun is expected to rise 26 minutes to the hour of 8 in the morning and will set at 5 minutes after the hour of 7 in the evening. Thanks for the pleasure of your company and do have a good night.
And thank you as well for the weather update there by the Central Forecast Office. And to recap of our top stories once again before we end this edition of the news with me, Fatu Janimbai. Now, President Barrow presides over the grand launch of the National People's Party at the Independence Stadium in Bakau, with tens of thousands of supporters in attendance. Expanding the judicial arm of government, President Barrow presides over the opening of the 2021 legal year, highlighting his government's stance on the independence of the judiciary. The new Malaysian High Commissioner and Egyptian Ambassador to the Gambia has presented the letters of credence to Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Mamadou Tangara. And in the internationals, the army in Myanmar has executed a coup d'etat, arresting incumbent presidents Aung San Suu Kyi and senior members of her government. The World Health Organization investigates the origin of the COVID-19 pandemic in the city of Wuhan, which has now infected over 100 million people, whilst killing over 2 million. Well, that's it from me, Fatu Janimbai, and from the entire news team. Many thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of our interesting programs.